most brain benefits from your exercise. 4 things specifically to improve brain health and performance. For 45 to 75 minutes, high-intensity interval training type. Whenever you do it and however you do it, just try not to get injured. That's the most important thing. Better performing brain compared to your age-matched control. The volume, the size of these brain areas continues to increase into their later years. We are, however, going to talk about the practical steps that you can take to make sure that you're getting the most brain benefits from your exercise. Whatever exercise you happen to be doing or you happen to be planning, I do believe it should include 4 things specifically to improve brain health and performance. Although these 4 things will also benefit you at the level of your bodily health, no doubt. The first thing is to include at least 1 workout per week that is of a long, slow distance nature. So zone 2 type cardio, maybe you get a little bit up into zone 3, but basically jogging, swimming, rowing, any activity that you can carry out consistently for 45 to 75 minutes without getting injured. At least 1 long, slow distance training session per week is going to be very beneficial for brain health. The second thing is to include at least 1 workout per week that's of the so-called high-intensity interval training type. Pick a high-intensity interval training session that you can do at least once per week, and that works for you. And again, it's really important to pick a form of exercise for the high-intensity interval training that you can do without getting injured. This is so important. One way to really limit your brain health and bodily health is to get injured and to not be able to exercise. The third would be TUT, T-U-T, time under tension, that you're isolating muscles, or even if you're not doing a so-called isolation exercise, maybe you're doing a compound exercise like a dip or a squat or a deadlift, but that really concentrating on the muscles that are supposed to be managing the work and not just moving the weight, but challenging the muscles. This is a very important thing, challenging the muscles using the weight, not lifting weights or moving weights. By focusing on time under tension, you will of course get benefits as it relates to hypertrophy and strength increases, in particular hypertrophy. And time under tension training is very beneficial for the deployment of the molecules that work both within the body but also within the brain to support brain health and function, both in the short term and most particularly in the long term. And then the 4th category of exercise that I believe everybody should include in their existing workouts or add if you're not currently working out is some sort of explosive jumping and or eccentric landing. And I'm guessing that most of you can probably incorporate these 4 things: long, slow distance, high intensity interval training, some deliberate time under tension training during your resistance training. Again, could be done with body weight, doesn't have to even be done with machines or free weights, as well as some explosive and eccentric control training without adding any time to your existing workout regimen, simply by incorporating it into whatever workouts you happen to already be doing. And the explosive eccentric control training could be done frankly at the end of a run. You could do it at the end of your zone 2 day. You could do it on the end of a HIIT day. Whenever you do it and however you do it, just try not to get injured. That's the most important thing. There's a 5th category of exercise that everyone should include if one's goal is to have a better and more resilient and indeed a better performing brain compared to your age-matched controls. And to be direct, that 5th category is the one that you absolutely don't want to do. There's a category of humans referred to as super agers. Super agers are people that defy the aging process, at least at the level of cognition. They maintain the volume of certain brain areas well into older age when their age-matched counterparts are losing the same brain areas. Meaning people in their 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s have brain areas that are shrinking. Even in cases where people don't have Alzheimer's dementia, areas of the brain are shrinking. Superagers are people that maintain the healthy, full volume of these brain areas, and indeed, in some cases, the volume, the size of these brain areas continues to increase into their later years. One of the brain areas that maintains or increases volume in these superagers is the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. What can allow you to activate and increase the size of your anterior mid-cingulate cortex? Well, it's very simple: to do things that you don't want to do. So if you're like me and you love resistance training, it can be hard, right? Some days I want to do it more than others, and sometimes the workouts are much harder than others, but I love it. But if I want to maintain and increase the size of my anterior mid-cingulate cortex, I absolutely have to find some form of physical exercise that I would much rather not do. If you're interested in a zero-cost program where you can start to sculpt out a idealized program for you, but you want to start with a kind of general template, we have a newsletter that you can access at hubermanlab.com, zero cost. You don't even have to sign up to access it, although if you want to sign up for the newsletter, that could be valuable to you too. Go to newsletter, scroll down to Foundational Fitness Protocol. It describes the program that I've been following essentially for 30 plus years.